Hey guys, it's Veronica. I'm going to go straight into another video. People have asked about some of the journals that I've shown or talked about, and this one I've shown before in my quartz video. This is my working journal. I use the ARC system. Levenger has a great system too. It's great because you can work on things and then move them to another folder. This is my stuff when I was working on the court cards and all that. And this is the one that it's whatever I'm working on right now. And like this is a picture of my charms. That I have a charm box with a charm for each of the 78 cards, and then I keep my sheets here. You don't need sheets to cast charms, but CarrieParis.com has great ones that you can download for free. Set them in a tray, and then grab some charms and just throw them. So this, I've shown this journal before, but this is going to be kind of embarrassing because it's a hot mess of a journal. But I had suggested to a couple people how journaling when you're learning the cards, how important it is. And this was the journal that I used for years. And basically, I'll just go to one of the cards, one of the pages. You leave a few pages for each one. And what I did was I scanned the cards. I had the Mother Piece card and what it meant in each direction. And then when I got the Mythic Tarot, I added that and what it meant. Then the next card, the Mythic, led me to the classic Rider-Waite-Smith card. And then there's the Tarot of the New Vision, which was just backwards, you know. And then I put meditation. I found a thing that had a meditation on each card. Then, when I found the Housewives, I fell in love with that. Housewives and the Zombie together are so amazing. And I loved how they depicted all the cards so smart and succinctly, and then I put what that meant. And then I absolutely fell in love with the Wild Unknown. Before, I wasn't part of the tarot community or online. I stumbled across it at Urban Outfitters, and this is before it actually became popular. And I also ended up adding the steampunk. And one of the things I liked is Barbara Moore's book. There's a quote on with each card, and I like the meaning. And this is the Two of Wands. A wielder of fire does not chant eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Hesitation over a decision. So this is the notebook that I used for years when I was reading for B and myself, and it was very important for me to get the meanings down and all that. So if I wasn't sure, I always had my notebook with me. And then I think later, I think I added, when I finally got the quartz the way that I believed it, like this is the Father of Swords, so it's the King of Swords. Well, in my deck, he's the executive, strategy and action. Because I was using it, I studied the Myers-Briggs, and everyone had a different system. And finally, I was like, forget it. I'm gonna match them up myself and see what works. So I did it by function and all that, and there's a whole video on the quartz and where I landed and how I landed on that. So apart from having a few pages on every card, and what I liked was having a comparison, like having these different cards to look at. So it kind of made this like internal encyclopedia, and it doesn't matter what deck I have in front of me, these are the decks I think of, you know, and the things I go back to. And then I put at the end, one card, good questions for one card spread, 2 and 3, and on, and just a whole bunch of different spreads. And it ends in, I think the last spread that I put, multi-card spreads. There's so many, but you know, to tell the truth, I always go back to the good old Mother Piece, which is basically other people's Celtic cross, you know, and it's just circle inside a circle. And that's, when I do a one-on-one, I usually do that spread, then we ask specific questions if there are any, and then I do a majors on major, which I just did a video that hopefully it's not messed up. I think I'm going to post it right after this. So when I talk about making a journal And I'm not artistic at all. I'm crafty, but I'm not artistic. So that's why I have to scan things. I'm so jealous of people that can journal and draw these beautiful things. I mean, this is a hot mess, but this is what I had with me every single reading until I realized I didn't need it anymore. Now, there are other journals that I made that that were the basis for my, I said this was the basis for my meme deck, but it started with, I can't find the pink one. Oh, here, this one. James Rickliff with his the pithy tarot. I just made, or I'd add pages as I need it, a page for each card, and then any quotes or anything that I found that would remind me of that card, I wrote it down in this notebook. And this paper's reinforced, so it's harder to turn the pages. But that got me started. I used this a lot, even during readings. I'd think, oh, that quote, I want to think of that. And it kind of became a part of me, and it turned into this journal, which not only did I do the sayings, I looked for pictures. This is the Fool. Be brave with your life. And I would do that on vellum, but then put the quotes and stuff that I liked. And this notebook was just to help me get closer to each of the cards, to collect things, pictures and sayings. And that's where my meme deck came from. I started finding pictures and putting things together myself. And it's just such a, this is my 5 of Cups. It'll take me back to the start. If you do something like this and you make a journal like this, it really helps you connect with the cards in ways that you wouldn't think. Here's my Queen of Swords, and I'd always had the Queen of Swords is so cold, but I'm trying to embrace both parts, you know? So there are a couple things. It's not the lie that bothers me. It's the insult to my intelligence that I find offensive. I love the Queen of Swords, even though she can be kind of cold and scary. One of the quotes I put for her, and there's my eye candy from the Nicoletta. When the guy says it in The Crow, when Brandon Lee says it in The Crow, when he's talking to the mother that's a junkie, and he said, "Mother is the name for God on the lips and hearts of all small children." But he didn't say the rest. And here was one who was worshiping a stone. That was in Vanity Fair. I remember reading that. That's William Makepeace Thackeray. I remember reading that and just like my heart going cold. But my mother's nothing like that. But to think that someone would have a mother like that, you know, that quote just stayed with me for so long, till when I was watching the movie The Crow, and I finished the rest of the quote where he stopped, because that's, to me, that was the heartbreaking part. And here was one who was worshiping a stone. So that was this notebook. So sometimes there's study notebooks. Sometimes, where's me? I'm the Queen of Cups. And so I have a few more. But I love this quote from Jung. As a child, I felt myself to be alone, and I am still, because I know things and must hint at things which others apparently know nothing of, and for the most part do not want to know. Loneliness does not come from having no people about one, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself, or from holding certain views which others find inadmissible. I think a lot of people that would be watching this video that are into tarot for themselves or professionally or spiritual, I think that a lot of them are probably intuitive feelers that have felt like this. And then my best friend, she loved it when she saw this one. You only know a part of me. I'm a universe full of secrets. She goes, uh-huh. Because people will think that they know every little thing about me, but they don't know, they only know what I want them to know. So this was a really great journal for me to work at. This is a picture that I found, and I actually put those together for my meme for the 3 of Cups. I love my girlfriend's card, the inner circle. And life is about doing things that don't suck with people who don't suck. When I saw them on top of each other, and I was like, that's my 3 of Cups. So there's that kind of journal that I do, and then I'll show a couple more. I like using old record albums for covers. This is a study journal that I did for a couple of cards, and the record was broken. So it's one of my favorites, actually. One of the first records I fell in love with, Glass Houses. But here's one that is all about ruins. I put sheet protectors and just printed out this cool thing that I liked. And then there's the pages where I actually made my notes. And then there's more printouts that I liked. So this was another study album. Different systems are hard for me to get down because I'm so, like the 78 is so hard to still wrap my head around, and I'm still finding ways to connect them and all that. That other systems, I have to make these journals, these study journals, because I don't have room in my head. There was, like Emily Carding has the transparent oracle. And she also has a transparent tarot, which I think is brilliant. I made a light box to use them, and I trimmed one of my decks of hers, but I was just showing a bit. This one, the oracle is so cool, but it's such a different system. So to learn it, I made a couple notebooks. And one, I put pictures of it so I could just flip through. And okay, so what does that mean? Kind of like flashcard style. And then the other booklet, I have the meanings and my thoughts on it. So that's me trying to learn the transparent oracle, which I think I'm always going to have to use the book, unless I just use it intuitively, but I'm one that I like structure and I like to know the meaning. So I'm going to show a couple more. I have no idea why I put a Fruit Loops cover on this one. This was when I was enamored with these 3 decks. And it was the Wild Unknown, the Bonefire, and the Terra Illuminati. And so I used different like scrap paper, but I printed each card like in a row. So I have I love deck comparisons. I love being able to just flip through and see my favorite decks together like that. And me making these books and going through them, again, that's why when it doesn't matter what deck I have in front of me, I think of different cards. You know, like I'll think of that 5 of Swords when really I'm using a completely different deck. So that's one that I did. And I've got so many. I don't want to show you what a complete nerd I am, but okay, I took this Cole Porter album, and you know the Art of Life deck. It's so pretty, it really is, but I used vellum sheets in between, but I just used like tabs for photographs, and I made a book to put my Art of Life cards in. They're beautiful cards and I love them, but I wasn't using them or even pulling them for a card a day. To me, this made a better book than it did a deck. And I've done that with a couple of decks that I really liked, but I didn't use. Now, I have every edition of the Bohemian Gothic, but in this one, I put my silver, not the pewter edge, the one that has a silver overlay. And I don't use that deck. Like, I don't want to shuffle it around and take it places. I can pop these out and use it whenever I want, but I have other versions of the Bohemian Gothic. So this was just for me to be able to look at it like a book and display it. And it's that deck, and then I also put the other deck that I don't read with but I love, McClimped. I did the same thing. And I have a sheet protector just to keep the cards from like banging against each other. So again, as you can see, I'm like crafty, but this isn't anything that I drew or made myself. And yeah, I think that's it. Except I will show, okay, the very, very first one I ever did was a moleskin, one of those skinny moleskins, and I thought it would be, I had no idea how much information, that this is what it ended up being that I used for years. But for the first couple of years I tried doing this, and I kept having to add papers, and I broke the spine and had to make a new backing, and there's papers that like fold out, and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. This is over 20 years old. This is when I first started reading. And my best friend, she said, make sure that I always know where to find this and that you keep track of it, because, you know, one day when you're being accused of something, you know, crazy, we need this as proof to show, you know, your state of mind, that you're crazy and you couldn't help it. And she didn't say when. She said, I mean, she didn't say if, she said when. When we're going to need this one day, so just don't lose it. And it's shown a lot of faith in me there, B. But she's not too far off. So that's it. There's more journals. Okay, one more. See, there's big ones. These huge ones is where I did deck comparison ones, but I'll just show this last one. It's a deck that I love, but I don't read with, and that's the Mary L. So I made a book of, all I did was I scanned the cards and copied them, and I put them on black paper, and just made a book out of them. I did try connecting with the deck because I liked this so much. I had a brilliant idea to put two of my notebooks together, and that's when I came up with, not that one, this one. This is how I tried to connect with the Mary L. Those three that I told you were my favorite. I just went ahead and made a page where I put them all four together. So I've got my Mary L, and then I've got my three favorites that I was using at the time, and that did help me connect with the Mary L, actually. So when I would use the Mary L, I would think of one of those cards, and I just used different scrapbook paper. As you can tell, I have way too much time on my hands. Way too much. So those are the only ones I'm showing. I've showed my nerdy side enough for today. So we're going to end it on that. What Mary L card? On the Four of Cups. Isn't that pretty? We'll end it on that. So I'll be doing the card on circular decks whenever I get that last deck in. And I also want to do a video on how to read objectively for yourself, because that can be hard. But I did that for a long time, so I think that's going to be coming up pretty soon. So that's it for now. I'll see you guys later. See you. Hey guys, it's Veronica. I did not show one of my favorite journals, and I don't edit the videos, as you can tell, but I'm going to see if maybe I can tack this one onto the end, because I love it. It's the Line Strider deck, the first edition, and I just never could use it as a deck. And I did put a Dreaming Way with it trimmed, and I have used this a lot. The cool thing about doing it like this with the tabs, like for photographs, is you can always pop the deck out and use it. I did have the Joie de Vivre in here instead of Dreaming Way, but I took it out and trimmed it, and I've been using it and kind of giving the Dreaming Way a rest. I think it looks really cute with the Line Strider. So it's very busy and crazy looking, I know. All my journals are just, I don't even know if I'm going to post it because they look crazy, but I do love them. I love looking through them. I've enjoyed the Line Strider cards more this way than I would have if I just left them, you know, stacked as a deck. I wouldn't have flipped through it as much as I do looking through my deck journals. So I'm going to see if maybe I can just add this on to my journal video, because it was kind of one of the ones I wanted to show. And there's my two Queen of Cups. So I'll end it on that and see if I can add it to it. So for now, see ya.